This is the Bone Collector Dominic Rini. You're listening to Wrestling Cheers. Don't turn that dial or I'll choke you out.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you're sitting in New Jersey. This is Wrestling Cheers. We like to talk about things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a review episode for last week's WrestlerRager 4, quote the Raven, Nevermore. I am your host. I am Justin Summers, and Wrestling Cheers is brought to you by the Trending Topics Network and Midwest Territory. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And we have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Like I said, this is a review for WrestlerRager 4. And yes, this episode is probably going to be sounding a little bit different because I think I mentioned it on the last episode that I had a job change and I'm not home anymore. I don't remember if I talked about this on the show or just off the air with the people who were on. So I am actually sitting in the middle of New Jersey doing this episode, and hopefully we get things back to what it used to be, but got to buy some newer equipment for me to take on the road. So this is how you're getting the episode this week. So like I said, I'm Justin Summers, and I am joined by Stacy.
Hey man, how's it going?
You're becoming Mr. Dependable.
Yeah, I'm here again, man. The streak's continuing. It's an ongoing thing, but happy to help out, man.
Hey, we were told we're part of the A team. Me, you, and Caden.
Yeah, how about that?
Took that as
I appreciate it.
Likewise, I took that as a compliment. Well, we don't have Caden here today, but we do have Charly Butters.
What's up? What's up?
Still good. You're still good. I think you're still good. Like A+ material for at least the three of us.
Yeah, I just parrot what Stacy says and it works out.
Or I ask him what he thinks. He takes everything that you're going to say, and then you just go, "Yep, that."
Well, he encompasses everything. Like he gets it all out there. Like there's not much. I mean, he really gets to the heart of the matter.
I encompass everything. Is that a fat joke, Charlie? Come on now.
No, sir. I don't do the low hanging fruit jokes there, and I have no room to talk either. So,
yeah,
I appreciate it. No one likes low hanging.
This is a pretty heavy episode of guys who are on it.
There was some.
That wasn't be low hanging fruit. Yeah, I'm just saying we're three fat guys. So Anyway, we got WrestlerRager 4, and whew, was this a show? This is the way I finally figured out how to put it, and I put it out there on Twitter, is Absolution is the yearly WrestleMania. Like it's the show of the year, and it's the like a lot of pinnacle of storytelling in AIW. Like definitely that's where the calendar year kind of ends and then begins at Absolution. WrestlerRager is ECW One Night Stand 2005 or 2006, whatever one you prefer. I prefer 2005, and it's just that party atmosphere. Like there's not necessarily storylines going into it, but it's just flat out fucking fun. And I don't think this night or this afternoon disappointed. What were your thoughts on it, Charlie?
It was my first WrestlerRager. I definitely see what the hype was about. It was a blast. It was beautiful weather. It was great. I loved everything about it, and I can't wait to do it again next year.
How about you, Stacy?
Oh man, you know how I feel about WrestlerRager.
I gotta give you the opportunity to repeat it.
it's the best day of the year, man. WrestleRager is a gift. And there's definitely an ECW vibe to it. To the point where every year there's been an ECW roster member or two on the show. So dude, WrestleRager is the best. What other wrestling show can you go to and buy full bottles of Mad Dog 2020 and just walk around drinking them? It's just the best.
There was a lot of fun things with this show, and the weather, you being one of those, it wasn't too hot. I don't want to say that it was cold. Like, we were waiting in line, like in the shade. Like, yeah, it was pretty cold. It was a little chilly, but you got out back, and that's when the fucking party started, and it was a mess. I do fucking love it, and yeah, it like the ECW connection wasn't on purpose with like a lot of the ECW alum that are here every single year, but yeah, that is a very, very good point.
I see that you're continuing with the old man weather report this week too.
Well, it's an outdoor show, but it used to be a thing we used to do, but I was just kind of, Charlie kind of mentioned the weather, and I just kind of elaborated on it. Out front, it felt a little, I don't want to say cold, but, you know, we were in the shade. But when we got out back, it still felt good. It's a good day.
Warm out today.
Warm yesterday. Warmer today. Anyway, let's get into this card. And we started things off with Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham versus CPA. I absolutely love the addition of CPA in AIW, and the match here with Dr. Dan was a great start for the show. What were your thoughts on it, Charlie?
Never bet against Dr. Dan, at least nothing this year, because he's been on fire. Like he hasn't really lost much since I've been going. The match itself was a fun start. We got to see a little bit of hardcore to kind of ease into it. It was just nice.
What were your thoughts on Stacy?
Man, it's good to see CPA becoming a regular around AIW. I like CPA. It was nice of him to wear his sweater to the show. I thought maybe a little warm out for a sweater, but he wore one nonetheless. Him and Dan had a good match. It was fun, man.
Yeah, I don't think we can say much else about it besides Dr. Dan won via positive affirmation.
Oh, you know what? The one thing I did notice out of it is it was warm enough out that the paper cut spot didn't look like it might have cut. That looked like some soggy paper.
Yeah, I think like most of those spots kind of look like that because they get pulled out. Like I even think the one with Joey Ryan was a little bit damp.
Yeah. Huh.
Next up, we had, which I figured we were gonna get this. We got a kind of a student match. We had TKD versus Chuck Stone versus Arthur MacArthur versus, this is the one I didn't see coming, Bobby fucking Beverly. And we have to talk about Chuck Stone coming out with basically a whopper in the middle of a ball of barbed wire, which was fucking great.
Yeah, that might be the best hardcore wrestling weapon I've ever seen is a hamburger. If your gimmick is you're a big hamburger guy and you come to the ring with a barbed wire hamburger, man, you've won points with me. That was good. That barbed wire hamburger fucking popped me. That was good.
What did you think about it, Charlie?
I'm a big Bobby Beverly fan. It was good stuff. I was surprised at the winner, and I was really happy that Chuck won, and it's a good match. I really enjoyed it. I brought some new people to the show that had never been to AIW before, so it was fun watching their reaction to everything. And this was just kind of like easing them in. Still, we're still easing into the good stuff, but it was really good on its own.
Oh yeah, man, Bev's the best. The thing that I'm happy about is that he ate that goddamn hamburger after he won the match. I don't know how awful that hamburger had to taste, how old it had to be to have been barbed wire wrapped, and like put in the thing, and then it sat there through like the whole match. It couldn't have tasted good, but yeah, like you can't use that thing and then not eat it at the end after you win.
Yeah, that was fucking great. And the cool thing too, with you Butters, is anybody who like brings like new AIW fans, I think is such a fun, cool thing to see. There's been times here on this show, and then we were the Highway New Report that we did giveaways for tickets, and my whole point was I don't want just a regular person to win this. I want either someone who's never been to AIW, or if a regular fan wins, give them to somebody who's never been. So you could say, I got your ticket, you're coming with me, and you're going to enjoy this fucking show. And I don't know if we've made new fans that way, but I think that's always like something really, really cool to see.
Yeah, they were big Nick Gage fans, so like I was really worried he wasn't going to be on the show because of the GCW tour, but then I'm like, well, wait, he can't really leave, so I guess he'll be there. And then yeah.
Why couldn't he leave?
I believe his status for former crimes prevents him from leaving. Does it not?
Oh yeah. I think that might be the one.
Yeah.
We could just say that he loves AIW so much that he just had to be there. He just skipped, even though he's GCW's world champ.
Yeah, he said, "Fuck Japan, I'm going to Cleveland."
Right.
I'm going to Cleveland and to have a tag team match with Filthy Tom Lawler and beat up two fucking punk kids.
We're allowed to talk about that match now? Good, because
oh, see, we're doing a lot of continuations from last week, I see.
Hey, man.
Well, in the normal way of doing things, we haven't got to that match yet because it is the fucking main event of the night.
Yeah, it is the main event of the night. Not even a secret.
Though the match that was a secret was this particular match that we were talking about, and Chuck Stone won via air raid crash on that barbed wired burger.
That barbed wire burger was genius. Whoever thought of barbed wire burger, genius.
And well, talking also with not exactly knowing what was going to go on, the next match was the Production, Eddie Only, and Derek Direction versus Faye Jackson, and we were supposed to get Super Oprah. And when some things started getting talked about, and then we heard the Stone Cold music, I thought we were getting, oh, fuck, now I'm forgetting his fucking name. Shell, yeah, motherfucker. What the fuck is his name? Now I'm fucking blanking on.
He is an old timer, man. He's got the weather report. Can't remember shit.
God damn, Grandpa, you don't even smoke weed. What's your excuse?
I used to.
I mean, I don't know who you're talking about, so I can't help you out. But
TNA Shark Boy. Here we go.
Oh, Shark Boy.
Yeah, I thought we were getting Shark Boy for a second, and then out comes Alley. So
Stone Cold Alley Cat.
Fucking yeah, Stone Cold motherfucking Alley Cat came out with White Claws, Stone Cold's music. Oh, it's fucking great.
Man, I don't know what happened. All I know is there was a free Super Oprah chant. I hope that shit has all worked out. I don't know any of that backstory, and I'm not gonna even attempt to elaborate on it. But well, yeah, we got Stone Cold Alley Cat. So like the beer bash from Stone Cold, that's some beer landing on you. That's whatever. It's wet. The White Claw beer bash is very sticky. It's very
because that was right in front of you.
Yeah, like right on me. Very, very sticky. A White Claw is. But it was cool. It was really funny. But yeah, no, White Claw's sticky. Better for drinking than wearing.
Alley Cat made you sticky. Got it.
Oh, come on, man. I'll tell you what, though. She did spit directly on someone next to me.
Oh, jeez.
Like how did that go over?
Oh man, I don't think well. I don't know for sure. They didn't seem pleased. A little bit of it got on me, like just a little bit on my hand, but like the whole motherfucker went right in somebody's face. So but that was a spot that happened in this match. There were lots of let's get weird spots in this match.
A lot of crazy fucking spots. I think if if there were to be like a match that I think people need to go back and watch, this is top 3 for me. Not exactly 1. I don't even know if I want to put it 2, but I'm going to say at least top 3 match to go back and check out. A lot of crazy shit that went on between Alley Cat, Faye Jackson. We're talking Eddie only spitting into Alley Cat's mouth. Charlie, what were your thoughts on that?
It awakened something in me. I jokingly set that out there on Twitter, and Eddie only said you're welcome. So thanks for that, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was the other half of the spot where somebody got spit on right next to me.
Oh my!
And I mean, kudos. That's a long ass spit. Like, good for her. I mean, she launched that shit a mile, but. And like, also, this match was essentially, if you think about it at this point, the production versus the entire AIW women's division.
Yes, sad but true. Sad but fucking true. So that means Eddie Only and Derek Direction are future AIW Women's Champion. They just have to go down to Florida and beat Shayna.
Nah, I'm telling you, man, that belt is retired. It's with her now.
Yeah. I'm not like Caden and actually wants it back, but yeah, I think the way AIW is going right now, it's like it wouldn't make sense because it would have to be like Alley Cat versus freaking Faye Jackson every other month, because that's like you said, like that's pretty much it.
Well, I mean, man, so are there other, like, there's a world of talented women out there on the indie scene still. It's not like everybody's all signed up yet. However, and I mean, there are occasional other people who come in. You've got Allison Kay occasionally, and Zoe Sky, and a few other people that, work a match here or there. But I just think there's other places doing women's wrestling a lot more prominently. And I got no say in nothing. I got no skin in the game, but I just think it would be amazing. Very much like the championship in old that Matt Cross has held for however long.
Over 2,000 days it was at the extravaganza. I forget the exact number, but it was 2,000 something.
But I would just love for after however long Shayna, and I hope it's an incredibly long time and she makes an exorbitant amount of money, but however long Shayna is with the WWE, whenever that comes to an end, I would just like to see her come back and be like, yeah, I'm still champ and I've been champ for this fucking long. Like it never ended. I think that the payoff of that, however many years down the road, is worth just not having a women's.
No.
Or at least a champion.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this match, Charlie?
I love this match. I think I was actually telling you on Sunday that this was probably my favorite match of the show. Well, at least one of the top 3. Yeah, it was really good. My friends really enjoyed it. They were amazed. They really fell in love with Alley Cat. So I mean, that's a universal thing anymore. You see her once, you fall in love with her. So yeah, it was good stuff.
From the sounds of things on Twitter, somebody fell a little too in love, and people need to stop being creeps.
Yeah, that's really messed up.
Yeah, basically, for those who don't know, someone got a hold of fucking Allie's number and text her. And I think what's even more fucked up is there was some dude that was like, oh, you only have this many followers, you should calm down. I'm thinking, I don't even care if you have one follower on Twitter. Like, if you're a human fucking being, nobody wants a random text message from someone they don't fucking know.
Yeah, man, I get mad enough when it's like the random text message from my old union or like, hey, will you donate this money to Bernie Sanders? Like, and those aren't even like real people. That's just a bot, and I get mad about those. So I can't imagine the creep factor of like someone you don't know having your phone number and then deciding to text you on it. But just don't, wrestling fans. You make us all look bad when you do that. Stop being creepy. Go and buy some used gear like a normal creep, or wait in an airport. Don't fucking text people.
I think the other bad thing, because we've heard about this before, I remember when Veda was talking about, like, there's been many times people like get her parents' address, not even just hers. Like, they get her parents' address and send shit. It's like,
That's stalking.
I don't understand this level of being a fan. Like
that's not being a fan. That is stalking.
Well, the fact that the fans would go that far to start stalking, like I don't know what possesses anybody to go that far.
Unchecked mental illness. Stalking.
Bingo.
If you're looking up someone's parents' address so that you could somehow get in contact with them, which is totally separate from what this is, but
yeah,
if you're
still
doing that,
fucked up.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying that's a whole different level of fucked up. That is a true, you've got issues, but that's a discussion for another day. Like stalking, airport stalking, home stalking, all that shit's fucked up. Shouldn't happen. But this match was really fucking fun.
Let's move on to the next match. Parker Pierce versus Big Twan Tucker. And
what
happened?
Yeah. Did you see Big Twan?
I mean, I see. Here's the thing. I mean, if straight up Big Twan Tucker and Parker Pierce, no other outside interferences, no nothing, just those two. Yeah, I'm picking Big Twan every time. But like I said, Dr. Dan and who played a factor in this match, he didn't put his hands on Big Twan or anything, but he caused the distraction and Parker Pierce won. To get to the quick end of that, but I was right.
There was some fuckery.
Oh, there was some fuckery, and I knew there was going to be some fuckery.
Yeah, I could feel it going in because you figure everybody basically. You basically got to figure, he's not going to beat Twan, so he beats Twan. I gotcha. It makes sense, I guess.
Though, yeah. I was kind of worried going in when Dr. Dan won his match.
That your prediction wouldn't come true?
Yeah.
Lucky you. Here's the deal. It seems like Twan might need somebody in his corner going forward.
Well, it was announced, Big One said that at Bobblehead Night, we will see Dr. Dan and Parker Pierce versus Twan and D'Lo Brown.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And that's why I segued into it. So
how good of a tag team is that? How good of a tag team is Big Twan and D'Lo? Damn, that's good.
That's going to be fucking awesome.
Also, Big Twan has NX Twan shirts that are awesome, and everybody should go buy one off of. Because
I wanted to, but I'm a 3X and he only ordered up to 2. And I was like, damn it. But I did, which I'll throw out his plug here, is obviously, we have the Wrestling Cheers What a Maneuver page. So does Big Twan Tucker. He has a Stay Woke Big Twan Tucker shirt, and you can pick yours up there. I picked up mine, so definitely you should buy one too. If you want to buy the NX Twan shirt.
And if you aren't as hefty as the folks doing this podcast, you should purchase one of his fine NX Twan shirts from him the next time you're at an AIW show or anywhere else that Twan's wrestling.
Hell yeah. Next up, we had the Duke and the Bitcoin Boys versus the Weird World and Raven. What thoughts do you guys have on this match? Start with Stacy.
Boy, don't like the Duke. Don't like the Duke at all. That's thoughts. That's a thought. I thought Raven and the Weird World was a great teaming. I also really, man, like if you watched Raven's reactions to things that were happening in the ring when he wasn't in the ring, when he was just standing on the ring apron, man, that was a show all to itself. It was amazing. Like the reactions he had to watching Weird Body wrestle people, just so good. So good.
Yeah, his live commentary was really fun while he was wrestling.
Also good.
That was different. Duke decided to take a shot at me. I was wearing a nice Aaron Epic shirt that said Death Proof, and he decided to point out that I was 10 seconds from a coronary. So, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I didn't even hear half the shit he said because everybody fucking yelling at him. I think that's the only one I caught because you were right by me.
I knew it was coming too. As soon as he read my shirt, I'm like, ah, fuck, here we go.
I'm still confused as to whether people were telling Mikey that he had a baby dick, or if they were telling Duke that he had a baby dick, and Mikey was getting offended by it on accident. I don't know. Somebody had a baby dick, and the crowd was very, very intent on letting them know about their baby dick.
I even yelled a couple times. I'm like, which one? Because was it Eric Taylor too? Was it Mikey? Was it the Duke? I'd figure it was the Duke. Mikey's the smallest one, so I could understand where everybody was thinking that. But I mean, it was very confusing.
And I'll tell you what, while you gave your weather report earlier, and it was fairly accurate, it was a little warm out, and the spray bottles actually they didn't work the way those boys would usually use them inside. And, like, oh, you got sprayed with water. That's annoying. It was actually kind of refreshing.
I swear they had something in it. Something besides water. My girlfriend was with me at this show, and she kept saying, look, there's glitter in it. I'm like, no, but it was kind of bubbly. So I'm like, did they put a little bit of soap in there?
I don't know.
Was that the whole thing? Not only do you need water, but we need to put soap on you, because it also had a scent to it. Like, it wasn't just water.
I could smell
Man,
there was a scent to it, but
you analyzed that shit way more than I did. I just got misted by it a little bit and was like, oh, that's kind of nice. You're over there with like a fucking toxicology kit. Like, well, I see a fucking CSI spray bottle.
You got me pretty good, so I had to clean my glasses off and stuff. But yeah, there was a definite there was a scent to it. So I was like, as long as there's not like anything gross in it, I'm good.
Oh, we provide in-depth analysis on this show, Stacy. But you also forgot that the Bitcoin boys were drinking Bang.
Oh yeah, well of course they were. That lines up with the politics they've aligned themselves with. So yeah.
Do you think after the show they went to Chick-fil-A?
It was Saturday, so they could have.
Yeah.
They could have. I don't know. I saw them around for a while, so I don't know what time Chick-fil-A closes in preparation for the Lord's Day, but I don't eat that much. So
I've had this conversation recently. I've never fucking had it, and it doesn't necessarily have to go with their religious views. It goes more or less. They've never had anything that I've gone, ooh, that's really good. It's just like, oh, I can get that anywhere else. Okay, cool, whatever.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, they do have stuff that's really good. Their sweet tea is fantastic, and they have grilled chicken nuggets that are just like chunks of grilled chicken that are really good. But I don't eat that.
You know,
I mean,
than I do.
I didn't say I've never ate there. I said I don't eat there. That's a distinct difference.
Anyway, any other thoughts on this fucking match? The Weird World was fucking great. Raven's commentary, like we mentioned, was great too. I had freaking Bitcoin Boy's ass in my face because I was at the particular corner that they were at. So yeah, that's all I got.
It was another great year of Duke having the match with the ECW legend and things not going his way.
I think with Raven being there, I think he was just having a ball. It seemed like he was having a real good time doing everything because like I saw like thing he jumped on their podcast. He like did an extra meet and greet that like originally they weren't going to do at intermission. Then he did a Q&A. So like he must have been having a good time to stay and do all that extra stuff. So
Stacy, did you do the Q&A? Or were you around for the Q&A?
I was in there for it. I didn't participate. But I was in the room. People asked some good questions. There were a lot of punishers in that fucking room. But some people asked some good questions. Young Ed had a moment with Raven, and yeah, it was good. I mean, it was aside from you know wrestling fans, man. Come on, you can't trust a room full of wrestling fans to not be miserable. But there were a few people who had like genuinely good questions, and then a bunch of the good thing was Raven treated all the fucking dumb questions like you should treat someone with a dumb question. So
good. good.
And him and Steve Guy both looked like they were having fun doing it.
Like, I know I didn't stay for that, and Charly, I didn't think you did. I mean, you were kind of out with me for a little while, but then, like, I don't even think you did that.
Yeah, we talked with Mance you were talking with Mance, and I kind of just stood there and listened, and then we noticed Nick Gage, and my friends and I went and tracked him down, so.
It was at this point of the show we had intermission. I would go to intermission right now for us in a commercial break, but fuck that shit. We're just going to continue on. Anyway, coming back from intermission, we had PME versus Butcher and the Blade for the AIW Tag Team Championship. I'm not a big As LA Dying fan, but I love these two as a team, and I wish I could see them more in it's been 2 years since Andy Williams has been in AIW.
Yeah, and it's been never since he's been in As I Lay Dying.
Or what is it?
Every Time I Die.
He's in Every Time I Die.
Guess what? I don't listen to either of those fucking bands, so they are all the fucking same to me.
Wrong sentence fragment band. Sorry.
Yeah.
But nah, man, it was cool to see Andy Williams on this. Rager happened to take place on a very important day this year. I actually, a year earlier, had watched Butcher and the Blade wrestle in Pittsburgh at the inaugural Blackcraft show. So 2 years in a row on the same day, I watched Butcher and the Blade wrestle, which was kind of cool. But yeah, Andy Williams was there 2 years ago with Dom. That was supposed to be the Brawl for All with Dom that turned into the match. But yeah, it was cool to see him and Pepper Parks come in and do Butcher and the Blade. It was a good match, man. Man, Philly and Marino can have a good match with anybody. Not saying that those guys aren't good. I mean, obviously, Butcher and the Blade are great wrestlers, but just, people they've never worked with before. There's no history. Just came in and had just a fucking really good match with those guys.
This was something that was brought up to me, and this will it'll help transition when we get to the next match. But Mance Warner, he made his debut in AIW at Absolution, but his first time that he was actually kind of announced, because he's just a lumberjack in that one. He was a judge for what was supposed to be Dominic Garrini versus Andy Williams. And then it was later after that he officially had his in-ring debut. And that's Mance with that particular match at WrestlerRager kind of calls me back to Andy Williams at that show. And I don't know why we haven't got them in AIW until now. Why, the only time we're getting Andy Williams is at WrestlerRager, but I'd love to see them at a regular show. I've only got to see Pepper Parks once outside of this. And that was House of Hardcore, and I'd love to see him again.
Yeah, man. I've seen him a few times. I've seen them tag just in the last year. This was the third time I think that I saw him, because they were in Jersey on that Blackcraft show.
That Blackcraft show.
That might be the Blackcraft show. But yeah, man, they're a really good tag team. I think the thing that probably comes in with us not seeing them so often is, Andy Williams' band Every Time I Die tours quite a bit. So I think, his availability for wrestling is probably not as wide open as it would need to be able to book him in regularly.
Look, at least I'm not stalking the dude and acting like I'm a fan of the band. Okay.
Oh, hey, man. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just,
So when we did our review of the Chandler Biggins Memorial Tag Team Tournament, it might have been the preview or the review, I can't remember. I think I did both, but we talked about teams we wish would have been in the tournament, and they were actually one of my picks. So I was super excited that they got announced for this show, and I finally got to see them live. So that was the match was excellent, and it was everything I wanted, and it was probably it was in my top 3 of the show. So I had 2 tag matches in there.
And this was one of the matches we didn't preview when we did the recording for the preview. We were given a list of matches. Only 3 matches were officially announced, and there were 2 matches that were considered up in the air, and they didn't know exactly what they were going to do. And that was with the this match with the PME, it might have been, I was told either going to be a celebration or a match, no opponents named, and something was going to happen with the production, just opponents weren't exactly figured out yet. So that's why on the preview, we didn't talk about those matches. But I know as soon as this match was announced, that's when I officially made sure I bought my ticket. And yeah, well, we failed to mention too, it was sold out, and I watched one dude, and there was probably definitely more, who was used to way things run in AIW. He went up to go buy a ticket, and they were like, "No, we're sold out," and he was shocked. Like, and he didn't. You could tell he didn't know what to do, and I'm like, "Dude, sucks to be that dude."
Man, it's too bad he didn't know the folks that live next door. He could have sat on the roof or in a window. If the dude was slick, he could have just went over with the dumpster kids and been over there. Or there were some motherfuckers on a shed across the way. There were places he could have went next door to the neighbor's porch, made friends with them. But it was certainly sold out. Yeah, there was no... If you didn't have a ticket, you weren't getting in. I'll say this, though. It didn't feel as packed this year as it did last year. I think part of it's because the barricades were a little bit closer to the ring.
Barricades were closer, and with that fence being down, and then be able to put the merch tables, a little bit further, which we got to talk about Smoking Jay's Barbecue, too.
Fuck yeah, we do.
We promoted them last week. They are now officially going to be at the end of every single show when I throw out all the plugs for all of our friends. It was a $5 combo to get pulled pork, and you put on your own barbecue sauce. It was provided. One was sweet and the other one was spicy, so you could figure out which one you want, or throw a little bit of both on. And we have the smoked macaroni and cheese $5 combo, like I said, for both. And yeah, that shit was bomb as fuck. I made sure I was hungry going into it, and it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, from what I understand, he sold out of food too.
Yeah,
so
huge congratulations to for Brock on that endeavor, and he's going to be at the next UXWA show and
September 21st. Yeah,
and yeah, I think he'll be at more going forward UXWA, and then maybe he's working on something with AIW. We'll figure out as stuff goes on. But yeah, that's awesome for him. Did you have any, Charlie?
I did. It was fucking delicious. I can't say enough about it. I really hope he is there. I mean, I love Angelo's Pizza, but damn, that stuff was good. It was, the mac and cheese is probably some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had. And the pulled pork with I did the sweet barbecue sauce on it, and it was chef's kiss. Good stuff.
How about you, Stacy?
I was on a liquid diet only that day. Only fluids, the doctor said. So, I just can't. If it's gonna be like an all day fucking drinking binge, I can't fuck with food and mix things up. I had like a little bite. Pam got a combo, and I had a little bite of the mac and cheese because it's so fucking good. But if I had put real food on my stomach, it would have been a goddamn nightmare. UXWA I'll eat for sure because it's not drinking all day. But
yeah. Speaking of that too, it was announced at this show that they sold out of White Claw, and this, I get often told like you never drink it at shows. I actually did drink a White Claw at this show. That's all I drank. But they had Black Cherry, and everybody raved about Black Cherry, and I was like, all right, they have it, I'll go buy it. So yeah, my review is that it is pretty good. But that might be the end of my White Claw experience.
I had one of their $5 pile driver drinks that they had there that was supposed to be like vodka, lemonade, and some stuff. It was really good.
Was that the blue gimmick?
Yes.
Pam had one of those. That was way too sugary for me, but it tasted good. Now that's class, man. Holy shit. Will they hook you up with some booze when you order some booze? I got a double whiskey on the rocks, and I got a glass of whiskey. So I started my day with a whole fucking glass of whiskey, which is fantastic. I got a whole bottle of Mad Dog. A whole bottle of Mad Dog is $6. $6. That is just the best fucking deal ever. And they sold out of bottles of Mad Dog, too. They sold out of a lot of things. There was a lot of alcohol abuse at this show, which is just the best. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about a $6 bottle of Mad Dog at a bar. Any bar that will sell me a full bottle of Mad Dog, and I remember in years past that they had like 40s for sale too. I didn't see any this year. But that's my kind of bar, man. If you're going to sell me a whole bottle of fucking grocery store wine, I'm cool. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I had to drive, so I didn't get to enjoy some Mad Dog, but maybe next year.
And it was PME that won via the Sunset Dream, so they are still the AIW Tag Team Champions. And we're talking about all this alcohol. That's a perfect transition into our next match, Mance Warner versus Zach Thomas. This is where we started to crank up the craziness. We started cranking up the deathmatch aspect to the show. And what were your thoughts on this, Stacy?
So this was the first match, like you said, where shit got violent. And my tip off that it was coming was I noticed that the referee had on safety goggles and gloves. And I was like, oh, now's the time for me to pull my bandana out of my pocket and put it over my face so that I don't eat light tube glass. Man, best decision I made was bringing that thing with me, because tubes popped like a foot in front of me and I would have ate a fucking face full. And bandana, best choice I made all day. But yeah, shit got violent real quick. It was great.
I completely forgot about what you had said, and I just went dressed my own crazy way. I did a whole kind of like Macho Man inspired stuff, some of which that I'll be wearing as like a Brown super fan. And when I looked over and saw you with that bandana on, I was like, oh my God, I got a bandana on my hat. Oh my God, I ripped that motherfucker off, put it around my mouth, and I'm like, oh, saved by the bell. But it was good to have that extra layer of protection there. Fucking this is where shit got crazy. The thing that stands out to me is the bat filled or not filled, but with bottle caps all the way around it.
Oh, those marks on his shoulder.
Yeah, I was about to say Mance used it on Zach, and I know there's pictures out there of, and I noticed it during the match, like you can see where those bottle caps were when it hit his body. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it looked like he got attacked by an octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he caught the fucking business end of that staple gun too.
He got $3 richer in that match.
Fuck yeah.
$1 of which was provided by me.
I was too slow. I was trying to get mine out of my wallet, and by that time they were kind of done with it. So
I was kind of wishing we still had the Duke money to put on there.
Nah, that was a one-time thing.
Well, no, I'm saying like if like we would have, like some of us would have still had it, type thing.
Right.
Because then he wouldn't have got actual money. It would have been Duke money. But
hey man, if he's gonna take a staple gun to the tongue, he can get $1 for it. That's cool.
Okay, I was about to say, any thoughts on this match?
This match set the tone for the two matches to come,
Yes.
and it delivered exactly how I thought it was going to. It was really fucking violent. Both of these dudes went fucking 110%, and boy, like this. If the next match hadn't been as fucking wild as it was, this would have been my match of the night. But the next one got real fucking wild.
Any thoughts on it, Charly?
Yeah, Mance is just my favorite to watch right now. Going into this, I was like, oh, this is going to be, like one-sided, probably like it was with at Absolution. But I'll tell you what, they both gave it to each other pretty well. Mance had a nice red tint to him, and it was good stuff. It was real good stuff.
And it was Mance that won via lariat.
Man, you know what? I just remembered something as he mentioned the color. There was a point where I looked up at the ring, and Mance Warner was like kind of on his hands and knees, and he pulled his head up a little bit, and blood just poured out of his forehead in like a stream. It was one of the greatest things I saw all day. Poured like a fucking faucet. It was amazing.
Next up, we had the semi-main event of the night, and there's a little else something of this match that we did not know going into. So yes, by the time you heard last week's episode, I sounded a little dumb. Wheeler Yuta versus Dominic Garrini versus Matthew Justice for the AIW Intense Championship, and Matt Justice did in fact have Bill Alfonso with him. It was announced that he was going to be there too, but unfortunately we did not have that information last week. So the whole conversation of like, oh, do you think Bill Alfonso was going to be there? Yeah, like we now know, then knew by the time it came out he was going to be there.
Man, Fonzie looks like he's having so much fun at AIW.
Oh fuck yeah!
I hope he's permanent. I said it before. That is Matt's manager. It just fucking makes sense. It's so fucking good. I was so happy to hear. Like you said, we found out about a day after we recorded that he was going to be there, and boy, just the fucking best.
That wasn't even the craziest part. What about Justice's entrance?
Yes, I forgot about that. It was a police escort to the ring, which was fucking nice. Though someone around me was like, "Well, does that make him a cop caller?"
No, I think it meant that they wanted to make sure that he was able to get to the ring. I don't know. He certainly is not a cop caller. Yeah. Get that kind of fuck talk out of your mouth, Summers. Call Justice a cop caller.
No, I didn't say that. I said somebody around me said that.
I'll let him know right now.
Why would I say he's a cop caller repeating something?
I wouldn't even repeat it, man. But I'm gonna let him know.
We'll repeat something when it comes to main event. So Wheeler Yuta, Dominic Garrini, Matt Justice. I think much like Stacy, because I think it's kind of like what you were alluding to. This was my match of the night. The main event was good. But there's been something with either Justice or Bishop and putting them together. Obviously, it goes crazy. But one of them always have the match of the night, and I think Justice had the match for WrestlerRager. What were you guys thought on that? Let's start with Stacy.
I would have never in 100 years have thought I would have seen Wheeler Yuta in a light tube spot. So fucking good. There's so many good things that happened to this match. There's so much I can't even to unpack it all. Is just if there's a reason to watch this show outside of the other shit we've talked about, this match is really it. And I don't know how much of it was captured on camera because it really did go all over the place. But those guys wasted no time in going immediately into the crowd. Dom went off the fucking bar balcony. Matt went off the fucking U-Haul truck. They were fighting all through the crowd. It was just the fucking best. It was everything that's great about WrestleRager. That match it just encompassed everything that makes a great Rager match. It was violent. There was light tubes. There was fucking weapons and doors and big crazy spots. And it was just, everything was just great with that match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. Well, the parts of it I could see, there was a big chunk of it that was in the crowd, so I couldn't see a lot of it. I was able to see, everybody, Yuta getting thrown off the balcony, Dom's spot off the balcony, and of course, Justice, being the madman that he is, doing a running dive off the top of a U-Haul. Yeah, that was insane. What did Dom pile drive, I think it was Yuta onto over that way? They were up high. I don't know what it was. Did you guys see what it was?
No.
No, I saw a spot at some point that had a big road barrel or something.
Okay.
But that was kind of behind where you guys were standing.
Yeah, there was something over by the U-Haul that they used, and there's a pile driver on it. Yeah, starting out with light tubes right off the bat, and then even Fonzie getting in on it was great. It was good stuff.
And it was, as I pull back the fucking results, yeah, it was Matthew Justice retains via.
You had to look it up? You thought somebody else won the belt? Come on,
no.
Summers.
No. I had to read how. I mean, obviously I knew who won, and Post-match, a lot of celebration in the ring between the two.
Fuck yeah, and Matt got crowd surfed around after he won. Fantastic.
Here's the crazy thing about that. There was something like going into this show, I was like, dude, like Matt Justice could fucking crowd surf this show. And when it happened, like I thought it would actually win like around the ring, but it just pretty much I think stayed on one side of the ring. But when it happened, I was like, oh my god, I knew that was gonna fucking happen. That's awesome. Because I don't think there's been crowd surfing at WrestleRager.
Yeah, and you know when I caught him, I tried, like I held him for a second trying to see if there was anybody around me that I could like kind of surf him to then, like during his entrance, and everybody like as he jumped on me, like a fucking circle opened up around me, and I was like, well, I'm gonna set him back down then. All right then, all you fucking people moved, thanks. But he got to do it at the end, so that's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Like, even, like, he was so dedicated to that running towards you. Like, he made sure the barricade, which we were, like we said, we were really close to the ring. He pushed it back more so he could get that running start. That was to me, I was like, all right, he's dedicated to that shit. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was going to do it or not because he had kind of came past me. And I was like, oh, maybe we're not. Oh, nope, no, here it comes. Fuck. I almost wasn't expecting it. Somebody gave me a heads up because I kind of looked away. So it was like I almost could have fucked that up that time, but didn't. Everything was good. I mean, no, I knew completely everything was fine.
Next up was the main event of the evening. Wes Barkley and Joshua Bishop versus Nick fucking Gage and Filthy Tom Lawler. And it was at this point of the show, or just in between the matches, that the Barkley Nation infiltrated, and they finally, whether they were the ones we were waiting on to get to the show or whatnot, because I'm even like looking at these pictures for the results, and I'm noticing at this point is when I could see Wes Barkley's brother front row. I don't know where he was throughout the rest of the show, but this is where he finally shows up. And
so you guys,
go ahead.
You guys might not have been able to hear it over where you were, but definitely between the Mance and Zach match and the one we just talked about, there had been the "We Want West" chants that had started already then, and then they after that match, obviously, they intensified because oh fuck, well it's the only thing left. Although those fucking people don't care. Wes is out there and they still chant "We Want Wes." It's like you fucking have Wes. How much more Wes do you want? Like, what does the boy have to do for you? Jesus Christ. But yeah, they were definitely there. There was a contingent of Barkley Nation. Certainly not as prominent as it used to be. But it was there.
It was at this point of the show that I was chanting "We Want West" in the form of, or in the style, I should say, of Pantera Walk.
Okay.
I don't know. It was funny for the time. It fit the song, but then let's get into this match because Barkley Nation, yeah, they play a factor towards the end, and one of the craziest ends to a fucking show ever. At least in recent fucking memory for me. But yeah, Rip City versus Gage Lawler. What were your thoughts on this, Stacy?
Oh man, it was great. It was another big violent fucking mess. I love it. I love that shit, man. I love fucking light tubes and blood and fucking just all of it's just the best. It's just so fucking good. It's, you know, there's a bunch of different things that people love in wrestling. I like comedy wrestling and insane violence. And boy, did this deliver on insane violence. And oh man, I can't say enough good things about it. And Tom Lawler, really, for a guy who hasn't done a lot of that kind of shit, boy, did he seem right at home. Fuck
yeah. And this was the moment of the night, like all the fucking weapons came out. Lot of fucking the rest of the light tube. One thing we forgot to mention from the match before, what was it? What, Fonzo brought a fucking
box of light tubes.
Yeah, box of light tubes, and everybody got hit by a light tube. Even Dunn well, he didn't get hit, but he got to hit somebody with a fucking light tube, like with some justice. But it was fucking crazy, fucking hilarious.
Yeah, man, it's great. There were, and I think Caden had said he brought 30 light tubes for the show. So yeah, over the course of that afternoon, we watched 30 light tubes go off. Nah, man, it was great. This whole thing was good.
How about you, Butters?
Oh man, so when Josh came out, I fist bumped him.
Mm-hmm.
I regretted it momentarily. He's got that down pretty well. Another thing, he was getting carved up with a light tube, and I watched Gage actually stick him with it, and then just blood spray out of his head.
Yeah, how good's that?
I'll never fucking forget that. Like, I've never seen that live in person. I've seen it on, on TV plenty, sure, but in live like that, just wow, that was insane to see live. It was a really crazy match. Yeah, it was good stuff. Barkley putting Gage through the light tube door was insane. I didn't see that happening. It was just, yeah. Tom Lawler brought it. It was really good.
Boy, Wes got thrown around a whole lot. Like, he got tossed over the rail into me. He fucking got thrown into the guardrail at the end. Like, Nick Gage just kind of had his way with him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, him throwing him into the guardrail at the end, was due to the Barkley Nation. So
Yeah.
he ate that fucking guardrail too. That was rough to see happen. Oof.
Yeah. He went right into my elbow earlier. Yeah. Tried to move.
It was Filthy Tom Lawler, Nick Gage, one after Master Blaster onto a bottle cap army guy board.
That thing looked like it didn't feel good.
No. I got a up close picture of it from before the match started. Yeah, that. Whether the army men part might not be as bad, but the fucking razor sharp bottle caps are obviously, look at Zach Thomas's back of how those are. And there even was too one of those not necessarily a bat, but it was bottle caps all over some sort of like stick.
Wasn't there another one of those fucking like water jugs with a stick in it with the fucking bottle caps all over it? Was there one of those?
Was that this match?
I remember there being the water jug, and I believe Gage was beating the hell out of somebody with it outside.
I couldn't remember if I remember seeing Gage with it or Mance with it, but I could picture one of them using it, and I couldn't figure out which one, but I think it was Gage.
Some of that stuff blurs together for me,
Yeah.
As substances blend as the day goes on, and memory being what it is, I sometimes lose track of specific weapon spots in certain matches, but I recall there being something like that.
So let's get into post-match. Barkley Nation, pissed off about this loss, actually start throwing beer at Filthy Tom Lawler and Nick Gage, one of which kind of like grazed Filthy or just went right over him, and I caught it one-handed and gave the rest to Filthy, and then oh my god, a damn fight broke out.
So look, I'm gonna say this as a rational human being, and I understand that maybe not everybody was thinking rationally at that point, but I just want you to think about this. There are 300 paying customers in that place, and then probably another 40 people working the show, right? So 340 people. Out of the 340 people who are there, you decide to start shit with the genuinely most dangerous dude that's there. A man who has been paid to beat people up inside of a cage and is well trained at doing it, was pretty successful. And another man who's a convicted felon. So the two of what are probably the 3 or 4 most dangerous dudes in the whole fucking place, that's who you decide to start shit with? Boy, that's just not smart. Like, that doesn't speak to an intelligence level. Boy, dumb.
And I even seen Wes's brother start shit with somebody on the other side of the ring with him, like wanting to get into a fight. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was one thing of like, aha, fuck West, fuck West, fuck West. But once I saw him do that, I'm like, whoa, dude, like, let's just calm the fuck down. And I think that was right before the Filthy thing. And
I didn't really see the whole thing go down. I mean, I kind of heard secondhand about a lot of it because I had started to go inside already because like shit was over, and I was like, I'm gonna go grab a seat inside, get a drink. So I didn't really see the whole shit go down. I kind of more heard about it. Like I could hear kind of I was talking to Weird Body for a second, and I could kind of hear the scuffle going on behind me, but I didn't get like an up close look at everything that went down.
I know that my friend got hit in the face with one of the beers that was thrown, that completely missed Tom and just hit him like in the side of the head as we were dodging them. That was pretty crazy. Yeah, the last two people I'd ever pick a fight with would probably be the team that won the match. So I don't know what kind of critical thinking was happening at that point, but
there was none. And the dumbest part of the whole thing is Tom Lawler's while he's the most dangerous dude at the fucking show, he's also like the fucking nicest dude at the show. Yet another reason for him not to be the guy to start shit with, because he can fucking hurt you very badly, and he's a really nice guy. Just dumb shit. But that's everybody was young at some point. Some of you still are young. And a long day of drinking can affect your judgment in ways. And sometimes you got to learn a really, really hard lesson. And I mean, they were, from what I heard, real close to learning a hard lesson. Like if some folks hadn't intervened, someone would have learned a lifelong lesson that day.
Yeah, when that shit went down, like you saw pretty much the AIW crew, wrestlers and non-wrestlers, like scramble to like stop this shit, because Filthy definitely looked like if nobody stopped him, he would have kicked the dude's ass. And I'm not even sure which one it was. I just saw Filthy fucking dart towards all those motherfuckers, and I'm like, well, one of you are dead.
Well, yeah, and you know what, man? It's fun. Like we've watched like Eddie fuck with them before and stuff, and fun is fun, and those dudes have a little bit of fun with Barkley's little crew of dudes, and the dudes who are there to support Barkley. I don't know that they're technically his dudes, a lot of them. But yeah, man, look, man, life is there to teach you some lessons, and if that's the approach they keep having, eventually life is going to teach them a hard lesson. Maybe not even at an AIW show, but if that's the way they roll around, boy, they're gonna fucking cross the wrong dude at the wrong place one night and end up not able to talk for a few months.
Yeah, this is obviously not the first time something's happened. Like you mentioned with Eddie, there was even a show that even I was almost tempted of, like, not necessarily fighting, but like confronting one of them, and that's when Steve Guy pulled me aside and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fight." He's like, "No, go back to your fucking seat." I'm like, "Dude, it's fine." He's like, "No, go back to your fucking seat." And I'm like, "All right, fine." So I kind of witnessed that just from the part of watching, like, which I know to be Wes's brother, because you could tell they fucking look alike, like almost wanting to start a fight with a dude on the other side of the ring, and that's not even counting everything with Filthy. So like is it just that time of the year where this shit happens, and then once we get back to the winter months and everything, like his fans aren't going to care as much? Like what the fuck?
Oh man, the show's a big party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you also had a lot longer day of people drinking. I realized that the show itself wasn't really any longer than what a normal AIW show would be. But the intensity of the drinking was definitely different. Rager's just a different atmosphere. So it's very easy to understand why, the shit popped off like this. If you think about the other time shit's popped off, it's been at Rager, it's been at Tequila Jack's, when there were shows there. There was, a time when nothing like this, but it was never at like the normal shows. Like you don't see this shit at the Odeon or at that volleyball cavern or the fucking that cat pee smelling place. Like
I missed the volleyball cavern.
It didn't happen there. There was a thing at the Winchester, and I know you keep saying Wes's brother. Like I genuinely don't know who anybody's family is, and I wouldn't want to put something on somebody that it's not them, even if the dude looks like him. But whatever. Word to the wise: don't start shit with the wrestlers on the show. It's dumb. It's a dumb fucking move, and I'm glad that it was broken up for the sake of whoever it was who was dumb enough to start shit with Tom Lawler, and for Tom, because he doesn't need to deal with whatever would come out of him really hurting some dumb fucking kid.
All right. Any final thoughts on WrestleRager as a whole? Start with Charlie.
For my first WrestleRager, it was everything that I heard it would be and more, and I can't wait to do it again next year.
How about you, Stacy?
Man, WrestleRager, every year, it's just the best. It's just the best AIW show. If you live elsewhere and you listen to this podcast and you're trying to think of AIW shows that you want to come to, that you want to travel in for, my recommendation would always be Absolution, Hell on Earth, and WrestleRager. And holy fuck, WrestleRager. And also, we kind of glossed over. We talked about Raven doing the Q&A, but there were bands as well. Papa Pepperoni's band In Rome with Flowers played, and a really weird band with like a little space girl and a kid with a very on-purpose mullet, and another gentleman that seemed to have a much less on-purpose mullet. They played some weird music, and then there was some sort of faux black metal band that played, and then Ratfucker Worldwide's band played, which I unfortunately had to leave before they played. But there was entertainment after the show. Like this year at Rager, everything stayed at class. It just kept going after the show was over, and people were hanging out back, and everybody was kind of intermingling. And it was good. It was a good time. It was a big party, and boy, I can't wait for next year. I've already started counting down the fucking days.
I think that was beautifully put. See, Charlie, why didn't you say all that? I gave you the opportunity.
Yeah, you got to go first. I didn't even steal it all from you.
Of course, when I get put on the spot, then I can't remember anything either. So make up all the excuses.
WrestleRager was a very fun show, and for those who did the part, I don't want to say a part two, but like the next day, Old Wrestling was also fun. I will throw out because it's actually done. I do try not to talk about things unless they've actually happened when it comes to like interviews, but we do have a Danhausen interview coming up really soon on the show, and I also got, which this will either be a random bonus episode or it'll be at the end of the Danhausen episode, is I also got Fave 5 questions with Space Monkey. And the true story is I got permission to say I spoke with both Space Monkey and Danhausen about getting these done at the show, actually before that Symbol Monkey versus Danhausen was going to be sponsored by Wrestling Cheers. And I didn't get to pick. I could have picked the match, but Old Wrestling picked it for me, and I was really happy of all matches to pick, and had a fun conversation with Danhausen and Space Monkey too, for brief as we could, but still, it was very much fun. If you get a chance to check out Old Wrestling, check them out. Extravaganza was just as good as it is every other year. All right, any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go? Start with Charlie.
Yeah, you can check me out on Twitter at Charly_Butters. That's CHARLY_Butters. I also have a podcast, Not Ready for Primetime Wrestling, and you can check us out on Twitter as well as Not Ready, the number 4 PTW. Yeah, that's about it.
How about you, Stacy?
I have a podcast called Super Fantastic. New episode went up last week. Me talking to my friend Trevor Charity. We talk about all kinds of shit. We talk about like Bigfoot and ghosts and how he was on set for a Transformers movie. And I find out things about Megan Fox's anatomy I had no clue about. It's a show, man. So check that out. You can listen to the Super Fantastic Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, all those joints. There is going to be a new episode in the next week of the Super Chantastic Podcast, which is a subset of that podcast with me and Young Ed from Pod Van Dam, where we tell the story of Chris Chan. Yes. It is just part of Super Fantastic. You don't have to look something else up. It's just a Super Fantastic episode, but it's specifically for that. It is Super Fantastic Podcast on Instagram, Super Fancastic on Twitter. And I never plug it, but I am at Stacy Silvers on Twitter as well. If you want to follow my personal, I tweet from there a little more often than I do the actual podcast Twitter.
And also SS Silvers, or S Silvers, I should say, on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, that is what my Instagram is. You're right. Thanks, Justin.
Whenever I have to put in like everybody's like handles on Instagram, I do like change it, and like yours is one of the few that I have to change. But it's Stacy Silvers to S Silver, so it's not a huge deal. But it's something like, because I've done it, I now know.
Funny story about that. I had a guy once send me a message on Instagram asking me if I was a Nazi because my fucking Instagram name started with SS. And I was like, no, stranger. That's my first initial and my last name. Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you troll for Nazi friends on the internet, apparently.
I guess that's how the Nazi social network works. It's like, oh, that dude looks Nazi-ish. I will let me find out if he's a piece of shit. Are you a piece of shit? No, I'm not a piece of shit. Okay, well, I'll move on then.
Anyway, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Much like you can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers, and WrestlingCheers@gmail.com if you choose to email us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Check out our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movie, and Wrestling with Altitude. Check out our other podcast friends, such as Let the Hate Flow Through You, Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, Road Home from Wrestling, Haunted Home Video, The IndieCast, Center Stage, Sobros Network, UXWA Today, Big Gold Belt Podcast, the Co-Host Wrestling Show, Spotlight Series, I Got Your 5-Star, and Not Ready for Primetime Wrestling. And check out our other non-podcasting friends, such as Thrift Store Jobber, The Savage Dash, PowerSlam.tv, use Wrestling Cheers, all one word, and get your first month free. Ringside Shot Photography, Sickening Pictures, Stay Tough, Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, WrestleVoid, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially when you're drinking Mad Dog. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where